A floor covering retailer, again, calls you up on the phone, says, Manny, come on out and see me here. I'm interested in getting involved in this. I'm sure there are basic commitments that they're going to have to make to do a respectable job in terms of the money up front that they're willing to invest, the amount of floor space that they have to dedicate towards this this product, personnel, and so on. Do you have rules of thumb in that area when you're talking with a retailer?
Again, I think that each circumstance is different. My feeling is that anything less than 750 or 1,000 square feet is really too little to be able to properly show this category. And of course, the larger the store gets, the more space that it would be looked at. It's interesting that a lot of dealers are calling me, and I think they've become aware of the fact that they're over-assorted in carpets, that their store has too much space that has been given to that area. And so I'm getting a tremendous amount of calls saying, hey, I realize that I'm over-assorted on my floor in the soft surface. Can you help me develop a plan for sort of easing back on that a little bit and growing the hard surface areas in tile and stone? And so we'll sit down, we'll talk about those investments. Something that's unique to MSI, we are unafraid to custom merchandise a store, whether it's developing certain concept boards, whether it's developing the type of vehicles that will be right for them. So we are unafraid of creating that sort of one-on-one investment for the right partnership opportunity. And then we go forward and help them develop and grow the business internally, whether it's helping them with their training, whether it's helping them with their websites. There's a lot of ways that we can help them grow the business beyond just merchandising.
Yeah. Well, I guess showing it like you've done in your showroom here, it's on the floor everywhere. And I suppose that's really, maybe not to the extent you have here, but to some extent in a retail floor covering store, the more you can show in use on the wall or on the floor, probably the more you're going to sell.
There's no question, and the one thing that I would certain caution, something that's been true throughout my career, is being concerned about this concept of the more things that I have, the more I'll sell. I think Emily may have touched on that a little bit as well. I think that the consumer is looking for an experience where they're not confused, something that is easy for them to shop and find what they're looking for, and just having a sea of rack after rack after rack just isn't what's going to make it in our category. So I think retailers are learning that and are really looking for suppliers that can help them sort of scale down that assortment, make it become more meaningful, and make it the way that the consumer wants to shop.
That's really key then, selecting what's going to sell in their particular market. And
yes.
that's really one of the most important parts of this whole equation, I would think.
There's no question. And each market does have its own nuances, which we're aware of. And so we sit down and really talk and develop a mix that's right for that dealer.
Margins, again, you had mentioned that this is the highest margin business. Can you give us an idea? Most retailers are very, very aware of the margins they make and the various products that they sell. Give us a ballpark, if you can, if they're on the fence deciding maybe ceramics where I should go. Compare that with some of the other products that they're offering.
So I'll start by answering your question, and then I'm going to come back with a little follow-up to that. So I believe if you look at porcelain tile, that certainly being in the 40 to 50% margins is something that is easily achievable. And I believe that when you mix that in with installation, that you could easily be in the 32 to 35% total package range. Stone traditionally is a little bit less. Stone is a little bit less because of the nature of the product itself. A creme mark fill is a creme mark fill, and a little bit more shoppable between. So I'd say maybe 4 or 5 points less for natural stone. I believe that it's certainly much greater margins than when you're seeing in hardwood. Hardwood is certainly being challenged today. And I think even carpeting, though it's grown in the average price per square foot, I believe that the margins overall installed are greater as well. Now, with that said, I think one thing that retailers need to be a little cautious of is the threat of the home center stealing so much share. And we all know that retailers, shouldn't compete at the same margins as home centers, but I think there are certain products that they're going to need to get a little bit more aggressive on, not allow home centers to steal the margin, the share that they have been doing, and not be afraid to take certain products in certain categories and become a little bit more aggressive on price to allow them to get the volume revenues to have that total overall mix.
I see. But that's really key, to be able to sit down with a retailer and give them products or let them make choices in areas that are really going to help them in their market and help them compete, because that's, you know, that's what everybody worries about, I suppose, when they stare at the ceiling at night.
No, it is, David. And if I could, I want to just expound on one more thing, which is a core philosophy of MSI. One of the things that we really value here is the concept of affordability and accessibility. And what I mean by that is that this category has been thought of for many years as only affordable by the rich. It is one of the highest square foot price categories that's sold. Our philosophy of growing market share is to really make these products more affordable to the masses. Therefore, the more people that can enjoy these products and beautify their home, the larger that the total pie will get. We also have a philosophy of making more accessible. You know, we have 19 distribution centers throughout the U.S. We are unafraid to move product. So one of the things when we build partnerships with dealers is that whole concept of making these categories more affordable to their customers, us to ours, them to theirs, and more accessible. And I think that that's something that's really part of that partnership that we build with them, having a great mix of new products, making them more affordable for their customers, and growing share overall in that sense.
It seems like a trend among a lot of floor covering retailers, and I guess the number of floor covering retailers has diminished, especially over the last 10 years, and they tell me even over the last several years. And the ones that I think are most anxious to maintain and be here are expanding into other areas, especially non-floor covering areas, and I'm thinking about countertops.
Yes.
Countertops and cabinets is a quite popular area, and that's something that you can assist them in as well.
Absolutely. Our business was founded on the countertop business, importing slabs from all over the world. It's still a big part of our business. And there are many retailers today who are enjoying selling countertop materials. And what's interesting about it is that because of our relationship with our fabricators, we can really help them in forming partnerships where their role is to merchandise it, selling and carry the paper, and then the fabricator's job is of measuring, fabricating it, and installing it. And so we can sort of bring these two entities together to help them form this relationship without them having to get involved in fabrication or installation. And a lot of large retailers are enjoying that extra revenue today.
Are you seeing a big trend in terms of that? I mean, it seems to me it's happening.
No, I think you are, and I think that some materials, for example, quartz is the fastest selling new slab material in the marketplace. There is less variation in quartz, so the sale becomes a lot easier and a lot less trouble-free. There's also prefabricated materials where it's almost prefabricated to a standard kitchen. So the material is lending itself to having retailers now come into it. They're better at merchandising than fabricators. They carry paper already, and it's a natural for them to get involved in the countertop business.
What's your gut feeling in terms of growth in the future? I know there's a lot of retailers, some at least have in the back of their mind expanding into ceramic, stone, countertops, and some of them already have and maybe haven't made the commitment that they might. What sort of growth do you see going forward in these areas? And I guess too, in terms of market share among the various categories, that means there'll be some shifts in that. What do you see overall in that area?
Well, in terms of retailers, what we're seeing is that the small retailer is continuing to fall out in the marketplace. I think they're finding it hard to compete with the home centers. They don't have the volume or the scale to do that. But on the other hand, the larger retailers that have really explored all the different categories seem to be opening up additional stores. So I think in terms of number of stores, I project that you're going to probably see a wash, the smaller dealers falling away, the larger dealers opening new stores. But I think in terms of share, I believe the retailers are going to hang on to their share and maybe even pick up a little bit versus home centers. In terms of product categories, I anticipate that carpet will continue to lose share in the marketplace, that hard surface will continue to thrive, and I believe that ceramic and certainly stone, which stone is having a resurgence in rectangular shapes, is going to continue to grow as far as the share of the hard surface category itself.
The education factor, you had mentioned that earlier, that's pivotal. How long do you think would it take for, say, an organization decides to get into the ceramic business, ceramic and stone, and perhaps countertop business? How long do you think it's going to take them to be proficient, knowledgeable, field a sales force that can talk with some authority? How long are we talking about, do you think?
Well, again, I think if you hire sort of that resident expert, and that resident expert can take charge of training, Saturday morning, donut and coffee conversations, that, probably 6 months, the product category can be integrated where everybody's feeling somewhat comfortable. And we can certainly help in that category, whether it's providing product videos for product knowledge training. Our website, I consider our website to be the best website for hard surfaces in the market. And there's so much educational material within our websites, whether it's blogs on decorating, newsletters on all the new product types and how to sell the product types. Even our website has so many educational pieces that they can just use it to educate the consumer coming into the store or outside the store. There's so many ways that we can help them with technology to speed up that length of time that it would take to assimilate this new category.
Can you show us maybe the showroom and some of the warehouse here before we finish?
I would love to show you the showroom. Thank you very much.
Very good.
All right, Dave. So as you know, we were started as a natural stone company. Started with natural stone slabs and then moved on to natural stone tiles. You can see that we have a wide variety of different tile products, whether it be marbles, whether it be slates, quartzites, onyxes. And one of the things that you'll find interesting about natural stone is that we also take products and show them in full collections. So not just the floor tile of 12 by 24 or 12 by 12s, but all the different jewelry, the parts, the pieces, the motif that goes with it. In fact, we have probably 20 key collections, and a retailer would be interested is if they learn these 20 key products, and if they merchandise these 20 key products, that's about 85% of all the natural stone tile sales that are sold in the marketplace. So an easy way to merchandise these categories. Here's an example of some of our quartzites, some of our slates. What's unique about natural stone is some of these slates can be as old as 2.5 billion years old. Can you imagine that? And imagine the aura that comes out of having this in your home. There's something special about natural stone, and not only is it unique, but the beauty of natural stone is really unmatched. As you know, it's made by Mother Nature, and no two pieces of natural stone are ever the same. Very unique, and it is a product to put in your home. Again, besides traditional tiles and motifs, one of the greatest items that we have is pattern. Pattern natural stone has been really the floor of choice for many, many years. Patterns are really unique and really making a great comeback when it comes to rec rooms, kitchen floors. So patterns in natural stone is really a great way to show products. So Dave, one of the things I'm sure Emily mentioned to you is the importance of having whites in your assortment today. Everywhere you turn to in house, Pinterest, white kitchens, white bathrooms, you can see the broad assortment of white natural stones that we have here at MSI. Whether it be your Arabescado Carrera, your Calicut Gold, your Carrera White, your Grecian White, white and grays is a must-have in your natural stone assortment in your stores. Okay, so mosaics, as I'm sure Emily mentioned, is the jewelry of our category. It is really the item that changes the most. We're probably introducing 20 different mosaic products on a quarterly basis. And the big trend is having a variety of shapes, sizes, a variety of textures and materials. This is just a brief view of the different mosaics that we have. In total, about 750 offerings. Okay, about 7 years ago or so, we entered the porcelain and tile categories. It is the fastest growing category of all we have. And what's nice about our porcelains is that we really are now the style leaders when it comes to the categories. Whether they be lineal looks, stone looks, wood looks. and of course new large format tiles. Everything that's new and trending can be found in our porcelain lines at MSI.